Welcome, everybody, to the Entrepreneur Power Hour, where we have fun with entrepreneurs and teach them exciting things for their business and for their life. Because what's the point if you're not having fun in your life? So today I want to talk about how do you get a hold of people in your niche or who are part of what you're doing, who you find influential. Maybe some of the big stars you could think of, people on YouTube, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins. If you're a speaker, you want to get a hold of Les Brown. How do you do that? What do you do to start? And I know maybe those people you can't grab right away because you can't just go to a Les Brown event and be like, get on my show, because security would kick you out. What you could do is go on to YouTube or go onto entrepreneur.com or go and look for some people who maybe are working their way up the totem pole and email them or send them a video or send them an audio of what you're doing. And then magically, you're working with people who you never thought you would be. And that happened with me and Chris.
Sure did.
Where we were getting annoyed. And we were like, we need more YouTube subs. So I said, okay. I typed in how to get more YouTube subs. This dude named David Walsh pops up. I'm like, okay, I want to contact him because I had questions on his videos. I see collaboration. I'm like, I don't know if he would. He has 100,000 subs, which I thought was cool. I'm like, I'm going to hit him up and I'm going to send him a collaboration video. And then 2 months went by. I'm like, he ignored me. This isn't happening. And one day he said, fine, it's done. Let's do it. And we did it last Saturday, and that brought awareness to me that you can, and I'm not saying it will happen tomorrow, but you can bring big people to the forefront to what you're doing. And then Ron Lester contacts me today and says, oh, I talked to some people and we could maybe get some small level celebs on here. So what do you guys think? I know you do a bunch of different professions. What do you think is different ways you can get in contact with people to help you who maybe are doing some stuff like you are?
Well, one of the things that I've discovered listening to Earl Nightingale lead the field, or Acres of Diamonds it's called, is that the higher up a person is in an organization, the more likely they are to work with you because they have a better attitude. And I know a lot of people might say, well, is that really how it works? And yes, that is how it works. If somebody is really high up in a business or they're high up in their career as an entrepreneur or a speaker, they're going to be a lot more receptive to you contacting them, and they're going to get back to you, and they're going to take an interest in what you're doing, especially if what you're doing is of service and benefit to other people. So I have absolutely no doubt that whoever I'm going to contact about our show is definitely going to take an interest in collaborating with us.
Yes. And definitely, if you guys know who Grant Cardone is, that's another one. Haven't worked with him yet, but he has a lot of marketing pictures. You can either make money or really cool looking dude. And he has like that Clint Eastwood, tough guy look to him, which is cool even. And then I emailed him one day, and I'll show you the message if you guys want to see it. I'll read it out too. So if you have any questions.
Yeah,
I mean, and here's what I'd say too. Disclaimer, because I've been in network marketing things. You don't exactly copy it, but this gives you an idea of what you can do. So here's some education.
Just pull it up, B.
All right. Here's what I got. Boop, boop. I was writing an email, but here's generally what I say. Hi, person name. My name is Kareem Mays. I'm a young entrepreneur. Obviously, you're going to want to change that to whatever you do. I watch your videos. Something about them. I like that YouTube video you made. I like that thing you did. I like that TED Talk you were on. You want to, really put the flattery on. And you want to make it specific, I've found. Like, tell them actually something about what they did and about what you liked. It's not just like, you're kind of cool. So I said, I watch your videos every week, and I like the information you uncover. I started a channel on Blog Talk Radio. That's where I interview people. So where I interview entrepreneurs, and I thought you would be an awesome interview to discuss how being an entrepreneur and being whatever they are go hand in hand. And in the interview, I tell them what we do. We would discuss how you started, your inspirations, types of people you surround yourself with to make your dreams come true. Let me know if a 15 to 30-minute interview is possible. And then I show them where it will be put up, and then I said it can be found here. I think I have Grant Cardone here as well. And then this is Grant Cardone. I sent him this thing, and I said, I enjoyed your article. It was on.
Dream, you need to mute Cliff, or sorry, Scott.
I need to mute?
We can hear background noise when Kareem's talking. We can hear his voice twice.
All right, I'm just going to finish here real quick then. Yeah, sorry about that. I did. And then basically I just went on entrepreneur.com, said why I liked his article, and then I said I just started a new channel, same thing. And then I said he's an international sales expert. So I said being an entrepreneur and being an international sales expert go hand in hand. And I just told him same thing. The message is the same, but I wrote this message and it's custom to me. But it breaks down into really 4 parts. Who am I? Why am I reaching out? What do I want? And, what's the outcome of this going to be? So hopefully does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And literally, people are like, oh, you can't do that. Yeah, you can.
Well, one of the things I've also kind of heard and have heard other people have done is also by making sure you're following them, you're interacting with them online, like in Twitter, Facebook, places like that, where they're going to start seeing you pop up in their stuff, and that you're putting out, like you said, value, things that are value of, helping, sharing, and showing other people. So then you become kind of on their radar also, besides just the fact that you emailed them and said something. Because I agree. I think the higher up, they remember and understand what it's like, but sometimes they're so busy and they have everybody wanting to do that, and they might have a lot of other people doing the same thing you're trying to do. So I think you want to try and make yourself stand out too. I mean, I actually couldn't believe it one time when I emailed or sent something to Rob Four, who's a top network marketer and stuff like that. He has actually replied back and responded in a instant message back to me. I was like flabbergasted, that he, that he kind of even knew who I was or what I was about. I wish I would have followed up a little better and took advantage of that moment. But sometimes I think we're too afraid to go there, and sometimes it kind of has to be balls to wall. You have to really be able to step out of that comfort zone and go and do.
Yeah, and I know tons of people like, oh man, I can't contact A, B, and C. They'll never respond. I don't know. I mean, and then they come up with 100 excuses. They don't do it, and they're like, man, my career's not going anywhere. I'm like, okay, if you don't want to email, if you're too scared to email, here's 2 other tips. You can put an @ sign if they're on Facebook and tag them in something you're doing that's related to them, or you can share their content. I mean, if you're too scared to share content, I'm going to come yell at you. I actually will turn into Alex Becker. I'll be like, share that content. So if you see share retweet Tony Robbins stuff, retweet Les Brown, retweet Zig Ziglar. Well, Zig Ziglar's not here. Maybe you can do a seance. But retweet people that you find exciting, and then you never know. Maybe they'll be like, what do you do? Oh, are you a coach? Someone making popcorn in the background?
I think it comes down to belief, man. Like, you got to believe what you're doing is of value, and you got to believe that because you're getting better and better, and you're learning more about success and personal development and knowledge and the laws of the universe, that you're going to vibrate that frequency when you're contacting these people. And I know for a fact that I'm going to be contacting Les Brown. I'm going to find out how to get a hold of him. I'm going to find out how to get a hold of Zig Ziglar and Bob Proctor and all these big names, and I'm going to give them our YouTube channel, tell them to watch a certain broadcast, and say, hey, I'm really interested in having you on our show so you can tell us how you got where you are so that you can help everybody get the same results that you got by following whatever process you followed. And of course, we're going to be able to elaborate on that ourselves because we're doing the same thing. So it's going to be a very, very it's going to be time well spent for that person and for us. For whoever the big names we get on the show, that is going to be time that they have spent well, and they're going to know that because of where we're at. And I think that if you're vibrating on that level, it's going to be a piece of cake to get people to look at what you're doing and to believe in you. If you believe in yourself, simple as that.
Yeah, it could just happen by you get a thing and someone's like, let's go to a conference, because that's where I think you get the big names. Maybe you interview a couple guys who are pretty big. You share their content. Then they tell you, oh, let's go to VidCon. Let's go to so-and-so. Tony Robbins is having a conference. So-and-so's having a conference. And I'm like, oh, and there's a couple conferences I'm planning to go to because I know, okay, fine, the internet can't get me there, and email can't get me there, because some people are getting, let's face it, I emailed Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, and he said, not at this time. He didn't say no, but I'm like, if I get him at a conference, I bet you I get Mike Rowe on here too. Hopefully he doesn't have a plumber or anything. I'm like, okay, stop trying to clean pigs. Pay attention to what we're doing.
Is that what he does?
He does Dirty Jobs. Are people familiar with that? Maybe I should have explained that. Dan knows.
I know what that is. Yes, yes. Mike Rowe and Dirty Job.
I think it's really interesting how everybody has a different perception on it, because my perception is so completely different from what you folks are talking about right now. I see it as when you get together in a tight focus group and it's a well laid out conversation, discussion, then you can present it to somebody because you know what their interest is. You have a better chance. You have a really better chance at it because it's a well laid out discussion, and you know that the person that you're trying to reach out to has an interest in that area.
I generally try
totally different.
I agree.
Like I wouldn't want to go to I'm not crazy about going to the big key players. I'd rather find out the trending patterns that are going on out there and see who's talking about it.
I kind of do
everything
both.
that we do at Pay Me What I'm Worth can really pertain to every area of everything that's happening in the world. So there's a lot of trending patterns out there, people talking about failed marriages, relationships that are failing. And there's a lot of patterns that you can see going on.
Fran. But
hello, everybody. It's good to be here this week.
Hey, Fran.
Welcome.
You know what I'd say to that, Marsha? I agree that, I like this tight focus group, and it's awesome, but there's part of me that's like, let's go travel, let's go, see a big, thing where someone's speaking or do something, because I want the experience of both. I want the tight-knit
group. Yeah.
Because I go to my Toastmasters stuff, and I know they're interested. Like, I'm not going to bring – if I bring up entrepreneurship or career development, they're going to be, like, right on. So it's not like –
let's face it, Kareem, you're still talking a lot of money there. What about doing it without it costing all that much first? And then you get into the traveling end of it because you have the money. I mean, a well-laid-out plan makes more sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, I'll throw a disclaimer. Definitely, I'm doing it like this right now, and I'm contacting people via email, and Facebook and Twitter. But once, I get a little bit of green paper from working a job and maybe doing other Fiverr and doing some teaching, then I do want to, see the world. And I know you definitely know somebody. Yeah, I guess he either reached out to you or you reached out to him through somebody else, and he travels a lot, so I think that could be fun. It's
I think that if
Yeah.
we reach out to these people we want to talk to and they look at what we're doing, we tell them about what we're doing, I don't have any doubt they're going to be interested. I have no doubt in my mind. Because I am modeling myself after these people that I'm interested in by following the same path that they follow to get where they are. So the fact that I'm doing the same thing, learning from them how they did it, that's where my paradigm's going to go. That's the paradigm I'm shifting into. So I've got no doubt in my mind that I'm going to be able to get some big names on this show if I want them here.
Yeah, and that could go from you guys too. Like, I believe all of you guys have someone or somebody you'd love to talk to at this point. If you could just pull someone down out of the universe and pull a hat and say, I want to talk to and learn from this person. I'm actually curious to know who that would be and involve some of you guys.
Like I wouldn't contact Les Brown if I didn't listen to his audio programs, or I wouldn't contact Earl Nightingale even though I don't know if he's still alive. No, I think
No, he's not.
Okay, so I wouldn't contact people like Bob Proctor or Les Brown or any of these other motivational people if I didn't know what they were doing, if I had not listened to any of their courses or read any of their books, because that's what I would tell them. I would tell them, hey, I've listened to this program and it did this for me. I read this book and I learned this. I listened to this and learned this. And that would tell them that I'm really, really interested in what they're doing and that I identify with it, which would then obviously trigger them to be interested in what we're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. So would be my plan for sure, to get a hold of these big people. And that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to jump something out. And
Go
say
ahead.
One of the mentors that I followed once before actually got a hold of, I think it's the Napoleon Hill Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
And actually had one of their people that's one of the members and that helps run it and everything actually came and spoke on his behalf at one of his masterminds, and I actually was in on that and listened in on it. So sometimes, even though that person might not be around, but their foundation or whatever might still be around,
Sure.
you can get good quality people out of those foundations. That
Well,
might
of course. I would let anybody from Nightingale Conant come on our show.
Be, so
It doesn't. It could be anyone, Dad. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be somebody just starting off as a public speaker, or just that somebody that just got famous on YouTube and that is just starting to become a big name player. It could be anybody.
We have Fran. She's from Nightingale Conant,
Exactly.
right, Fran? Are you from?
No, that's for many, many moons ago.
But,
yeah, well, you still had the privilege of working alongside Earl and meeting him, so that's pretty damn cool, Francis.
you still earn the badge.
That's
I feel
right.
like it's like the Boy Scouts of life. And
Yep.
then you
Okay,
definitely
well,
earn the
yeah, I earned the badge.
Yep. Yep. And I'm telling you, every time I listen to Acres of Diamonds, I learn new stuff every time. And the guy who originally came up with Acres of Diamonds that wrote that book was Russell Cornwell, and he was born in 834. And Earl Nightingale has modeled a lot of his stuff after Russell Cornwell.
Yes, he has.
Yep. So the more you read and listen, the more you learn, and the more you can share that knowledge with other people. So I feel where we're going with this show is limitless. Absolutely limitless.
And it's other people too. I would even say, aside from the show, like, that totally, not. I mean, one day someone just asked Marsha, "Are you being paid what you're worth?" And then she responded somehow, and then all of a sudden she's telling me, pay what I'm worth. I'm like, I guess I'll come to one call, and then all of a sudden it changes my life just because one person reached out. This is like super powerful. You know how powerful this is. This is like Kung Fu or Bruce Lee, like be water, my friend. Except instead of getting in martial arts, we're just letting someone know, I'm interested in learning about you. Dun dun.
Yep.
And it opens up a whole new world.
Yep.
And I'd sing that, but I don't want to break the glass.
Well, yeah, and we're also actually saying that we need help.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're asking for help.
Yes. I need help, or some people say help on the internet.
What are you reading, Kareem?
No, I was just gonna say help.
Oh.
No, but I mean, I admit it, I don't know SEO that well. I'm not that great at marketing. My marketing is not that on par. I need to, you know, one day. This is a funny story. Can I tell how we met Bruce?
Bruce Bates?
Yes. I think that's funny. Like him and Chris had a little bit of a misunderstanding. Then he said, "Let's start over again."
Well, yeah.
I'm hanging out on Skype. On that time, I didn't have a job. He's like, "Yeah, let's hang out." And I'm like, "How'd you meet him?"
You know how I earned his respect? I wasn't afraid to voice my opinion.
Yeah, you weren't afraid to challenge. You weren't. Chris was not afraid to not challenge, but he just doesn't take because somebody says that wall is green. Chris is one that says, "Prove it to me."
Pretty much. I mean, it was actually quite beneficial on my behalf because I learned that, okay, you know, I got this guy's attention. Now let's find out what he's all about. Let's show him what we're all about. And now we're part of his cooperative where he sponsored us. So it was something that worked out for the best because I wasn't afraid to speak up to him and to talk with him and share some ideas that I had as well as embrace some of his ideas. So it turned out really well.
I can't even happen by accident. Like, I don't think you planned it. Just like, you know, you were discussing something, and then one day you're like, "Whoa, wait!" And then all of a sudden we have someone's like, "Yeah, I'll sponsor the show." It's like, "Whoa, where'd that come from?"
Yep.
Scott, I see you sitting back there and hanging out. I know you do a lot of opera, a lot of theater and stuff. Have you met anybody super influential or reached out to anybody like that, and they really impacted your career?
Not so much. I mean, I've tried to connect to like Renee Fleming here and Facebook and Joyce DiDonato and a few people like that. Some of them, you know, have people that manage their accounts, so I don't know that you actually get through to them. I do know, though, that now that I'm in Chicago, I have a very good chance at running into Renee Fleming because she's always the lyric, because she's been made, you know, sort of an artistic advisor to the opera company. And I would definitely like to get some feedback from them on ideas that I have them come to my concerts, you know, maybe have them give me some feedback on the content of the concerts, the quality, the length of the concerts, that kind of thing.
Have you written all that down, Scott? What you would like to happen as a result of doing that? It's a good idea. Write it down.
Yeah. No, I haven't, but I should do that, yes.
Yes, sir. Because what I've discovered is once you write something down, a chief aim or a goal that you have, like I've been practicing, this is from what I've listened to in Lead the Field and Power of Purpose by Les Brown, is that I sit down for an hour every day and I think of ways to increase my service in the field of work I'm doing, which is personal development. I think of ways to make our show better, and I actually added three more ways of increasing our service to our overall definite chief aim of the Entrepreneur Power Hour, and I sent it to Kareem today. I also made a list of goals numbered from 1 to 8 that I want to achieve in the next 12 months, and I'm going to be adding to this every day because every day when I'm done work, I sit down for at least 90 minutes, and I think, and I brainstorm, and I plan. And I'm like, okay, how can I expand my service to others, either through Pay Me What I'm Worth or the Entrepreneur Power Hour or both? Because I do want to expand my service as much as I can in both of those areas, so that I know for the fact that what we're doing is benefiting everybody whom it affects. And so that Kareem and I and everyone on the show that's here now, we can all inspire people to transform their lives and reach their full potential and become the person they want to be. And it all starts by thinking that you already are the person you want to become and practicing the habits of the person you want to become. So writing down your goals and looking at them every day, as well as listening to as much personal development stuff as you can and reading as many books as you can on success. I think that is absolutely vital to expand your knowledge in the field of work you're in as much as you possibly can, because that will increase your service to others, which means it will increase your rewards, cause and effect.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome, my friend. That's what I've been doing, Scott. That's what I've been doing every day. I just started doing this a few months ago because I was stuck in a really negative paradigm for a while, and I felt really kind of stuck. And then all the work I've been doing with Pay Me What I'm Worth and everything else I've been doing with listening to audio programs and reading books, I've been integrating all that and applying it to my life and sitting down and really thinking and planning and just getting it all out onto paper. And it's just, the ideas are just flowing constantly. They're starting to flow more consistently, and it's great to work on yourself.
That's the best $2.50 I ever invested.
Yeah, you're right, Francis, and I'm going to tell you, I thank you so much for that, because now that I've started with Earl Nightingale, I'm moving on. I'm going to get as much stuff from Nightingale Conan as I can.
Well, I hope you do, and that's why I sent it to you, because I couldn't think of anybody I thought could benefit more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello?
But anyway.
Mute Francis, Kareem.
Yeah, I got it. It's
Okay.
all good. But yeah, definitely, Scott. I mean, I have lists upon lists of things I need to do because I have like a job and then I do freelance stuff and then the power hour. So if I didn't have some type of bookkeeping, and then I would go crazy. So writing it down gets you a boom, boom, boom. I got these goals today, and then write down the big goals and say them out loud. I think the power happens when you get really excited about it and you're just so excited you can't help it. And then Dan Sissick's looking at me like, oh, man, this guy needs some Ritalin. But it's not that. It's just I'm so excited about what I want to do that eventually I run into it. And then
it really does put a catalyst to it.
And then when I contact somebody, because here's the big difference. When I was doing network marketing and I contacted people, I never really got that powerful response of them being excited. But when I became excited about what I was doing, whatever it was, and then I contacted people, they were excited. And I know this is some public speaking. If you're having fun, the audience is having fun. The key is to love what you're doing so much that even I honestly believe, even in an email, it'll like spill over on them. They're like, and I remember I sent an email to somebody, and they actually said your passion kind of shows off on the screen. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I can't even remember who it was. It was just somebody I contacted, and they're like, man, Kareem, you're really into this. They could tell just by the words. It's just
That's
pretty
what we
crazy.
want. Yeah.
That's what you want. You want to get someone going crazy over a text
Yes.
message or an email.
Yeah, and I mean, the more excited you are about what you're doing, the more excited everyone else is going to be. What did Soul tell us? What's Soul been telling us since we started Pay Me Worth? Be excited. Be happy. Be the person you want to see in your future. Be that person, and other people will get excited about what you're doing because you have the confidence to be that person. You have the confidence to come out and go, hey, man, I'm taking an awesome class, and it's changing my life, and I'm looking for 12 people to take this journey with me. Are you in or not, man? Well, what's it all about? Well, let me give you an audio to listen to. Go check it out. Let me know what you think. And you're done. That's it. That's it. You know, so you give the person the opportunity to make that choice for themselves. And if they don't get back to you, well, guess what? Obviously, that's not the person who was meant to be in business with you. Simple as that. You share what you're doing with them, let them check it out, let them see what they think of it, get their feedback. And we're always looking for feedback on how we can make our show better. And like I said, man, we're coming up with so many different ways that we are going to expand the Entrepreneur Power Hour. So it's a never-ending process. Because like every business, if we don't improve our services, we'll become stagnant. It's like Walmart. You know, they had to improve their services in so many ways over the years, and now they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation because they kept changing with the times. We plan on doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
And that's why when we're constantly changing, when people can see that, they'll want to be a part of it. And funny enough, I made the topic how to contact. So they'll contact us because here's a funny thing. Started doing testimonials on Fiverr. I got a few people.
Cool.
I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And, regardless of what you think, testimonials can be rough because sometimes you're going back and forth and like, I want this and this lighting and say it like this. I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was, I can't remember, a couple of days ago, this dude literally helped me up and he's like, I'm a coach, but I can't just I don't just want a testimonial. I want to be legit. And I'm like, that's fair. And he said, how about you let me give you an hour of free coaching, which I'm like, yeah, I'll take that. And then you'll do a testimonial on it. And he'll pay me for it, too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, that's a double whammy.
That sounds like a win-win.
Right
Yeah,
on, Kareem.
buffet. And then I said, oh, I'm a coach too, because I talked to Marcia about it. And then here's the thing. He hit me up on Skype today, which I think Fiverr got mad at us because we put Skype in there.
Oh.
Yay, evil internet overlords.
Whatever.
That's besides the point. And then I said, can I share what I do with you? I really like your site. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure, please do. Boom, boom. Now he has an audio on ethics and stuff, and I'll give it. And he saw the power hour, so that's awesome. Now that you can even reverse the tables. Hey, it works. I'm here to say it works.
It works. Yeah. No, it doesn't. No, I'm kidding. No, absolutely. I mean, that's great, Kareem.
John.
That's really, really awesome. John. Yeah. John, you want to chime in?
John, I haven't heard from you yet. How you doing, buddy? How's the weather?
John, which John is this? Have we met him before?
I'm gonna unmute him. John, can you hear me? He might. John?
He doesn't have headset on.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. You can listen in, and there's a chat box on there. You can type stuff.
Yeah, type in some questions or anything you want to say, man. It's all good.
If you're having fun, don't have too much fun. Not allowed. No, I'm kidding. No, but there's a chat box at the bottom right. It's next to the share screen. You can type in there what you're thinking, what you want to say, or any comments.
What about Marcia? She's been really quiet.
Marcia and Cedric's here. Cedric.
Marcia's chomping at the bit.
No, I'm sorry. I just had to kind of mute and type in a message.
Yeah, you know me. I'm bugging you, Marcia.
I know.
Because I love you. Because I love you so much. And I'm going to tell you guys, Marcia has been one of those influences I was talking about. Marcia Sortino, I've been friends with her for, almost 6 years now, and I've learned a lot from her. And you guys, if anybody here doesn't know Marcia very well and would like to know her more, she's a really wonderful person and can teach you a lot about yourself because she has been through a lot herself. And the transformation that this woman, I've seen her undergo after knowing her and all the stuff that, we've talked about, she's going to be one of those people that is a tremendous influence on anybody who she takes on.
Always going to land on her feet.
That's right. I mean, she was shoveling snow. Remember that? What was that big snowstorm in Boston, Marcia? That was like how many feet of snow? 6 feet in 2 weeks?
Oh gosh, it lasted a whole month, Chris. It was like
and yeah. And to teach her class for Pay Me What I'm Worth so she could join Seoul University, she was up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day shoveling snow off of buildings for, 6-7 hours a day, Marcia?
Yeah, that was something else.
But I mean, you were up.
My toes off for 8 hours.
Yep. And you did it. And now look where you are. Now look where you are, Marcia.
Oh, I'm really glad I made this decision to take the class. Most definitely.
Why don't you tell everybody your story about how you went from shoveling snow off of a roof and barely paying your bills to where you are now with everything you've learned from Seoul University and Pay Me What I'm Worth, because I think people would really like to hear how you've come to where you are and the influence that Seoul University and Pay Me What I'm Worth has had on you.
Okay, sure. Well, I was at a point in my life where I had to make a choice. What am I going to do about paying bills this month? Because I wasn't working. I had been doing network marketing, and I decided to make major changes, but that meant that I would be having to, just tell the company I'm done and I'm not going to place any more orders, blah, blah, blah. And so that meant that that I wasn't going to get paid once I left the company. But I had the rare occasion of meeting my teacher, Christina Irvin, who brought with her soul. And we had a conversation one day, and that's what they did, was they asked me a very interesting question, and that was just simply, am I being paid what I'm worth? And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I right now I'm in a situation where I don't even know how I'm going to pay bills. So it just so happened that they asked me that question. I told them what my situation was, and they actually told me about the class, Pay Me What I'm Worth. And I had just made up my mind. I didn't have any classes that I could listen to like everybody else does right now. There were no classes that I could listen to. I didn't know anything about Pay Me What I'm Worth or Soul University. But I had made up my mind that it's time for a major change in my life if things are going to move forward for me. Because it was either I was going to have to get a job, J-O-B, somewhere, and I didn't have a car, so there was no way that I could travel, 3 hours on the bus there and 3 hours on the bus back, because those were the kind of jobs I was getting, I was like, yeah. So the last job that they said they wanted to hire me, well, they wanted to hire me in the hours where the train stopped running. So I would have to wait at the train stop till 6 o'clock in the morning because they wanted me to work the wee hours of the morning. I said, no, thank you. So it just so happened that everything just came out the way it was supposed to come out for me. I mean, I took that big, huge risk, and I said, okay, I have a chance to. Somebody at the president at St. Vincent de Paul came to me and said, hey, I'm going to be with there's some work that the state is providing. So I took it on, and I worked for about a week shoveling snow off of rooftops, but they were paying like $200 a day. So that brought my tuition. That brought in my tuition, and it was like I had to decide: am I going to just make this money last for 3 months and pay bills, or am I going to take that big, huge leap of faith and get into Pay Me What I'm Worth? Well, I decided to take that big, huge leap of faith, and my money went towards that. And in the second month of my class with Christina, I started my own group, and I started getting paid. So that solved that problem for me. And then, of course, with all the other layers of programs that we actually can make money with, it just continues. My journey continues. I get to stay home, and I get to work from home.
That's really cool,
so
Marcia.
I'm so blessed with this. Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really agree with you. I just want to read something out of The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill that I think is one of the most, and I recorded it on my phone. I've recorded a lot of stuff from this book on my phone so that as I'm doing my work day and I'm, when I work doing my deliveries, I actually listen to Les Brown or Earl Nightingale and Zig Ziglar. I kind of variate between them over the course of the week. And this is one of the most famous poems ever written, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to know this if they've ever read anything by Napoleon Hill. But this is probably really one of the most essential poems I've ever heard for a success mindset. And it goes, if you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win but think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you've lost. For out of the world we find, success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but soon or late the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. So I really, really love that a lot. So much. And Napoleon Hill, I'm telling you, man, if I could meet that guy, I would hug him and I would thank him, because without him, I wouldn't be studying this course right now. And I think that everyone on this call, you need to buy this book. Buy this book and read it. Read it as throughout your entire life, because I'm telling you, this is only my first read.
Just the size of the book is intimidating.
Yes, it is. But at the same time, if you really want to devote yourself to learning one of the most important laws of the universe, you're going to read this book, because it actually has 15 laws and from the natural laws of the universe. And Bob Proctor based his work off of Napoleon Hill's work as well.
Right.
So Napoleon Hill is definitely where I would start. If you're new to personal development, if you're new to the concept of developing yourself, I strongly recommend starting with The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. Now, contrary to public opinion and knowledge, this book was actually written before Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is this book's successor, and I had the privilege of finding that out through Google research. I was Googling Napoleon Hill, and I spent 3 hours reading about this man, and this is my Bible. And I'm going to read this book probably 150 times throughout my life, at least. Because every time I read it, there's going to be something new that I haven't known, that I didn't discover before. So, and it was only $24.95 Canadian. So for you U.S. citizens, that's like $15.
Right.
So spend the $15 and get this book. It will change your life. Thanks, guys.
You can actually download that book. You can download that book.
Yeah, but downloading, it's not the same as having it in your hand.
Well, if a person doesn't have the money right now, what I'm telling
That's
them.
true. Yes, you can download it. Yes, you can download the PDF. Absolutely. Yep, you can download it. But essential reading. Marcia, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I was just going to say I've done a lot of self-development, reading books and all that, Chris. You know what? The real key is to get to know who you are. You have to explore those questions that nobody has ever asked you before.
Dun, dun.
Those are what you need to do. And then you're going to see a completely different perspective about everything that you've ever learned in life. Once you really key into those questions that you don't even, you yourself might be afraid of even exploring. But those questions are so key to your development and your growth that you don't even realize it until one day you wake up and you go, oh my God, I have changed everything about my thinking. I've changed perspectives about what I used to believe. I don't believe those anymore. It's a matter of you looking into yourself, Chris.
Yeah, that's some power, because I'll admit, like I read a lot of New Age stuff. I read a lot of Napoleon Hill. I still listen to a lot of that. I still do a lot of that, and I listen to motivational speakers that I want to become. But the hardest part was actually looking at myself and saying, "My living the life I want to be living." And it goes back to, if I'm not living the life I want to be living, how can I bring other people into it? How can I contact or send emails if I don't really like what I'm doing? How can I even actually share content? Because I never did that before. And then I knew where I was at in the world, so that's a huge spiritual mental point that I had to realize. And then I could go out and show people, this is Kareem Mays. And funny enough, 10 out of 10 people are like, yeah, I'm jumping on the train. Woohoo. And yes, and Cedric, you forgot the bobbleheads, man. Where are the bobbleheads? All right.
Oh, no, they're within hand's reach.
Yes. Woo.
Oh, no, going back to what Marcia said, I've done all that. I've asked myself those questions, and the decision I made to change my paradigm comes through knowledge more than anything else. The more I learn, the more I can change. into the person I want to be. So I've asked myself a lot of questions that I never thought I would ever ask myself. A lot. And I'm becoming way more tolerant, compassionate, understanding, patient, receptive, and open to other people's ideas and things like that. But at the same time, I know the path I'm on, and I know that I want to stick to that path because it resonates with me. So I've owned this book for almost 2 years, and I just picked it up 2 months ago. That was one of the questions I had.
Do as much for you on the shelf as it has in the past 2 months, I'll bet.
No, not at all. Because if I don't read it, how am I ever going to learn what it's all about? Right? So I made the decision to shift my paradigm because I don't enjoy. I'm not enjoying. I wasn't enjoying the life I was living. So now it's like, okay, I want to shift my awareness and my paradigm. So that's why I've started down the path I'm on.
And it changed like so much. You look in the last like 2 months, I mean, not to say anything we accomplished in the past year's not big, but geez, in the last couple months, like this person, that person comes on. Wow. Yeah. And it's just making those little changes. And then funny enough, I know I started off with, okay, here's some techniques to reach out to people. But funny enough, you do a lot of changing on yourself, people will reach out to you. I'm doing these live feeds on Facebook. People are taking me
seriously. So am I. Yeah.
I was like, wow, you know, and Dean, and people I haven't heard from in a year. You know, if you've seen this Facebook Live, you can do something.
You can do it from it's only from mobile phones. You can't do it with PC. It's phone only, unfortunately.
But it is. So
let me ask you something, Kareem and Chris.
Yo.
You've taken personal development before. When did you actually start noticing your changes?
Wow.
When I started exploring and having fun, I started saying, "Oh, this is the real Kareem Mays." When I stopped trying to analyze every little thing and figure out all the mysteries of the world, I discovered this is the real Kareem Mays. And in turn, other people are like, "Wow, I never saw this side of you. I never even saw it myself."
And what class taught you that, Kareem?
I have a trigonometry. No, pay me what I'm worth.
I think. Sorry, I think for me it was a combination of everything. It was a combination of Team Seekers. It was a combination of Napoleon Hill. It's been a combination of Earl Nightingale. It's been a combination of Les Brown. It's been a combination of making the decision to commit myself to work my ass off on myself.
When did you start feeling the change?
I really can't tell you that. I really can't tell you that because it's been an evolution. And whenever the evolution started, I have no exact date for you. I don't have an exact time.
Well, if you were to ask me what I noticed, because I've worked with you for so long.
Oh, I know.
That change that you talk about, your compassion and all that, I only started noticing it when you got into Team Seekers. That's when I started noticing it, Chris. It wasn't when you were doing Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. It wasn't when you were doing any of that. The first time I ever heard you talk about feeling compassion finally was when you got into a class with Team Seekers.
That's probably accurate. I would say that's relatively accurate, yes. But I would also say that maybe I had it locked away and I didn't feel like releasing it until I knew that I was ready to release it. You know, because I've lived a very guarded life for so long, and once I realized that it was that the more that I offer compassion and gratitude and understanding, the more it's going to come back to me. And it's been a long process of wrestling with my mind, because my mind is, I can't even put it into words. I have a very, very strong creative intelligence. So I will wrestle with one idea. I will wrestle with one belief. I'll wrestle with my emotions and stuff. And I've got to try and combine that all into one ball of energy. and I have to make sense of that. So for me, it probably is a lot more difficult for me to identify with what you're talking about than it is for maybe somebody else, Marsha. And that is not something I choose. Complexity is part of me. And I think it's because I consider all avenues before I make a choice. Before I make a choice to feel something, I consider all avenues, all different thought patterns. And for me, compassion became natural because I wanted to be that person. I wanted to be compassionate. I wanted to be understanding because I realized for the first time in my life that I could show more than I had previously. I could be a more understanding person than I had previously. I could be more receptive to listening to the ideas of people who I attracted into my life, like everyone on this broadcast. And that's what's been going on so far. But I think my paradigm shift really started, yes, last year with Team Seekers. It absolutely did, because I finally felt like I had the connection to the people that understood me and I understood them. So I think it has to do with the right people being in your life that can get you to look at yourself in a way that is productive, not judgmental. And that's what Pay Me What I'm Worth has done. It has caused me to look at myself through the influence instead of being forced to look at myself. And it's not for everybody. Not everybody is going to want to dig deep. I'm going to tell you right now, not everybody is going to be able to face the truth about themselves and the things they want to change, because from my experience, I wanted to externalize all of that and justify why I wasn't compassionate, why I was less than receptive, why I was this, why I was this. I wanted to externalize that and place blame on a circumstance or a certain person or a certain individual. But what Pay Me What I'm Worth did is put a mirror in front of me. And it caused me to look inside that mirror and go, do I like what I see? And I didn't. So I've changed it. And I'm continuously changing that. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Chris. And I do agree. It's we're putting the mirror in front of ourselves all the time in what we've learned in Pay Me What I'm Worth.
For me, I put the mirror in front of myself, but more so it was just enjoying life and enjoying every day. And I used to be like, oh, I have to go to work or I have to do this or that. And instead of doing that, I had fun with it. And I actually just enjoy life. And then that's the biggest catalyst to bringing other people into my life is just, hey, having fun. Other people want to have fun. I tell people, come hang out and have fun. That's my line to get people to come and hang out with some cool people.
Yep.
And they do. And that's why we have, guys like Scott and Cedric here, because they like to have fun. Especially, I'm counting on those bobbleheads. You need to bring them out. I'm not letting you go until you bring out them bobbleheads.
So funny.
That was a great. I think that was one of our most viewed ones, just because someone probably tuned in. And you're like, bobblehead.
I loved that one.
I mean,
we got really deep, man.
I would just like to say that.
No, go ahead, man. We've been ranting. It's your turn.
Yeah, life is a process. It's a journey, and I can truthfully say I've had up and down periods in my life, and what you're on, Chris, just continue it. It's it's an evolution. It's not, I have grasped the world intellect, and now I'm ready to just stop, just continue.
Of course.
Continue.
Yep.
And the thing is that you're going to attract people that are like-minded.
Yes, sir.
And it's all about value.
The
more value we can put out here into the universe, the more valuable we become.
That's right.
So, my hat is off to you. My bobblehead is bobbling for you.
Right
And
on, man. Thank you for the words of encouragement. Thank you.
right. And I have read that book, and I am actually going to get back into it because it is a work in progress. And daily development is just like eating every day. We eat three
That's
times a
right.
day. We need to consistently feed our minds just like we feed our bodies.
That's right. Now that's one point he emphasizes in this book over and over and over is feed the mind. Earl Nightingale talks about it. Les Brown talks about it. Bob Proctor talks about it. Tony Robbins talks about it. Man, you got to keep the mind developing constantly. Soul Dancer tells us about it, and Pay Me What I'm Worth. Keep the mind going. Keep feeding the mind. Be the person you want to see in the world, and the world will adopt and manifest the change you're facilitating from yourself.
Exactly.
And I just cannot believe I waited 2 years to read this book.
It's not for the faint of heart. I can honestly say that. It's not for the faint of heart.
No. No, it's not.
Well, see, what we have out here is we have so many distractions. You know, we need to take time to read, feed our minds, to meditate on those things, and to get around people that are searching the same.
Absolutely.
What we're searching.
Yep.
And in that, the mastermind principle.
Yes.
Like we're sitting right here. We're masterminding on different things, and answers will come.
Look at this, Cedric. That is the first chapter of this book.
Right.
The mastermind. Yes.
Right.
Absolutely, man. Anyway, go ahead.
So it's a process, and we will start to attracting like-minded people and people that are looking, because they're out here online, especially online. There is so much crap out here.
Yes, sir.
And there's so many snake oil salesmen that people are looking for the genuine product. They're looking for the genuine people that are genuine, that are truly about helping others. And if people see that in you, you know what? The rest is history. So my hat's off to you.
Thank you. Well, my hat's off to you, Cedric, because I hope I've inspired you to begin reading this again, because if you have it, man, I'm telling you, man, the stuff I'm getting, and I'm only on page 150, and the stuff that I'm getting, from this first 150 pages is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing, man. And this is a 600-page book. So you got to read it more than once. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's what I'd say. Because I read stuff like that. I'm actually working on a Tony Robbins book. But the most powerful thing to do is take that and bring that out into the world.
Yep.
And then I say, okay, I've read a good book. What am I going to do now? I'm going to get out there and give speeches. I'm going to get out there and contact my friends. I'm going to get out there and make my dreams real. Because the biggest thing all of this can do is to actually go out there and start taking crazy action.
Of course.
Act.
Like things like this are meant to motivate you to access that part of yourself that pushes you, no matter what obstacle gets in your way. If you keep reading stuff like this, listening to Les Brown, Earl Nightingale, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor, Soul Dancer, all this, it's going to keep you motivated that no matter what gets in your way, you're going to go, you know what, that wall's not going to stop me. I'm going to climb that mountain. I'm going to jump into that volcano because I have to. I am compelled to jump in that volcano. And I am. Les Brown talks about it. Most people are so scared to jump into their volcano. And you know what? You're not going to die. There's nothing to be afraid of. Jump in, feet first, head first, dive in, and watch what you're capable of. Because the human mind, here's an interesting fact for you guys. I don't know how aware you are of the power of our emotions and intelligence of the human mind. We know the speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. That is not the fastest force in the universe. Our emotions and our thoughts travel across the universe at 68.4 quadrillion miles cubed. Now you think about that. That is unfathomable. How fast your emotions and intentions stretch across all time and space. 68.4 quadrillion miles per second cubed. And people doubt themselves?
And it reaches a vibration. So depending on what you're thinking about or
That's
how
right.
you're thinking about it, there's
That's
the
right.
vibration that you're going to be reaching.
That's right.
And there's a density there too, because if you're negative, you are putting density on that vibration.
Absolutely.
And you're not able to release. You aren't able to release what you need to release.
Yes. And if you can't release it, it's going to be so hard to go out and work with the people of the world, because you have this rock on you holding you down, and you're just holding this weight. But when I let go of that weight and I'm like, yeah, life can be awesome, even if I'm broke, even if I'm homeless, even if I get attacked by a bear, even if Cedric doesn't bring his bobbleheads on and do this, maybe we won't get as much viewers. I'm just kidding. But it's just that whole idea of, if I am having fun and I'm loving myself, then everybody else is going to catch on. And that's real consciousness change to me. Just working on the stuff in here.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else can become a magnet.
At the heart level.
Yeah.
At the heart level.
Your heart is a magnet. I would say the heart's a magnet. Actually, there's this dude named Greg Braden that he brought out the Isaiah effect, and there's a quote in the Bible that says, think of your prayers as if they've already in existence. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't think much of that when I read it. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. And then he was explaining that it's not thinking about it, because there's so many people like, think about what you want. Think about what you want. He said actually start feeling it, and then someone's going to be like, Kareem, I'm feeling this Ferrari real hard. Where is it? But it's already feeling like you're part of that experience. Then that experience shows up.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The caveat I would say is, if you start doubting that, if you're like, I got excited about the Ferrari, and it doesn't happen.
You're blocking it, because now I'm going to touch on something that I just came to me like a bolt of lightning. The human mind, our greatest dual-edged sword is memory, and the ability to attach emotion to memory. Because when you have a traumatic experience, let's say with a relationship, or let's say you had a traumatic experience with a snake or a spider or something like that, your brain remembers that as a negative experience, and you attach it to the amygdala and the limbic system. Yes, thank you. So your brain will automatically recall that memory and bring it to fruition, which affects your entire conscious state. So one of the most important aspects of reprogramming memory from a negative is to feed it as much positive memory as you can. Recondition. That's what I've been doing with all this personal development stuff. I'm removing, I don't want to have that experience again. I don't want to have those experiences again. And I know that Marcia has been trying to teach me this for years. Chris, you have to let painful memories go. Are they serving you? No. None of them have ever served me.
Hey,
remembering painful experiences and lamenting them never served me. They are destructive. Anyway, are Sharon leaving?
Yeah, Sharon and Fran actually had to go. So, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Hope you had fun. It's a pleasure as always. And actually, I would say it's coming to the top of the hour to get on to some other stuff. But I think we covered some pretty powerful things here. I mean, I started with the topic of how do you contact people? And really, I showed some tips in some ways. And yes, you can share stuff. You can send emails. You can, do YouTube comments. But the biggest thing is, do you truly love yourself and what you're doing? Because I can show you a million techniques, and I showed some of them, a few. But really, the biggest thing that I can drop is, if you don't have that passion within yourself and it spreads upon what you're doing, it's going to be hard to get some people when they see what you're doing to jump on it. And I know that from personal experience.
And we both do. We both do, man. So,
like Les Brown said, set yourself on fire and people will come from miles away to watch you burn.
That's right. Yeah. You know, you have enough enthusiasm. You have enough enthusiasm about jumping into your volcano, and they'll follow you. That's right.
Hey, Chris, maybe Slipknot was inspired by Les Brown. They're
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
oh, you know, hey, Corey, I just heard this great personal development tape. What do you want to do, Sean? Oh, I got something for you. We're like, yeah, this works. Anyway, I want to thank Cedric Wilson, Chris Peters, Scott Foreman, Marcia Sortino, Fran Richardson. Always a pleasure. Dan Sissick. John, I don't know his last name.
Yeah, John. He left.
Razik, I think.
Razik or something. Yeah, I think he left already.
And I also want to thank Cedric's bobbleheads. They always make me feel happy.
Cedric Wilson, yes.
And fluffy inside. And definitely, we're going to keep coming up with new stuff for you, collaborations, or develop some membership sites, and hopefully eventually we'll have some products and different things that you can take online and help.
Don't we already have products?
I'm working on a couple.
We have a Shopify store, though.
Yes, we do have a Shopify store.
Yeah.
We need to make sure shipping's working on that. But yes, we have Shopify store. We have some shirts and stuff. So I can share that link with you after we get off. But if you liked what you see here, go to Patreon. Subscribe and go to Patreon /theentrepreneur.powerhour.com. That's Patreon /theentrepreneur.powerhour.com and help us out. This is Kareem and Chris with the Power Hour. Contact your best buddies and keep loving yourself.
Cheers. Thank you.
Aloha.
We're off.